Hi, and welcome to the Psychic Hour, where you can get the answers to your most challenging questions concerning life, love, or the afterlife. Starring Cindi Sansone-Braff, the romance whisperer, a relationship expert with a twist. She talks to the dead to teach you how to live well and love better. Named Best Psychic 6 times by the Long Island Press, she is the author of Grant Me a Higher Love, Why Good People Can't Leave Bad Relationships, and Confessions of a Reluctant Long Island Psychic. Joining her tonight is the show's producer and host, Nicole Semidei. Nicole, a talented artist, writer, entrepreneur, and intuitive, shares her unique perspective on the Grant Me a Higher Love philosophy, which is the spiritual foundation of their show. Hi, Nicole. Welcome back for a summer show. This is going to be really exciting because we are relationship people here. We really deal with soulmates and Grant Me a Higher Love. So we thought we'd go back to the beginning of what our radio show used to be, which was talking a lot about relationships. And Nicole came up with this great concept for this show. This is not my concept. And she called it Looking for the Right Person in the Wrong Era. And I thought that was just a great title, topic, because we have always talked about things like going on a dating site or speed dating, but it shouldn't be the only avenue. And everybody knows about that now. So we don't really have to talk about that. But for a lot of people, it feels like shopping for someone. And sometimes an old soul doesn't like shopping for people. And it feels like a lot of work. So we're going to go a little bit more old-fashioned but modern at the same time, because there's a lot of new ways to meet people that you couldn't meet people in the 50s. We're not meetups in the 50s or 80s, okay? So that's a new concept. But before we get into our show, Nicole has a wonderful new venture, and most of you have been following us for years. And I always state over and over again that Nicole does this as a labor of love. So she's taken some very funny quotes, interesting quotes, and put them on certain merchandise, like a sweatshirt, which I can't wait for mine to come, and different items that are basically the Grant Me a Higher Love philosophy and some of Nicole's own philosophy. I would hope that you would look at it. If you need gifts to get, I think people will love getting something that has a cute saying, an important saying, a higher love saying. So, Nicole, tell us a little bit about the website and the name of it.
Sure. It's called Om and Ember. And I chose those two things because a lot of what we talk about on the show, it's about not just rushing forward. It's about learning the importance of just being still.
Right.
We also talk a lot about passion, and that's what Om and Ember both stand for. It's having that curiosity, that vigor, that fire in you, but also being able to be still and channeled and grounded at the same time. I would not be a functional adult today if I did not meet Cindi. I attribute all of my growth to what I've learned from Cindi. So what had happened was I had been working on a lot of my stuff is not like plain Jane. It's a little bit edgy. It's a little bit kind of like a trash polka type of style. And that's, I think, is my music roots. And because I do a lot of work for musicians and things like that, namely my wife. Like my favorite is the one I'm wearing right now, is like my Buddha shirt.
Okay, can you stand up maybe so we can kind of get this, get your boobs in there at the same time?
Well, my boobs are like totally huge. See, I got my Om symbol. I got my Buddha here. I started doing it and I'm like, it just hit a chord with me because taking the time to just wash everything away and ground myself before doing anything, I was a Tasmanian devil. I would just muscle through everything. And it took, like I said, a lesson from you to be like, sometimes the most important thing you could do is to stop and take a step back.
Pause.
Don't burn the house down and things like that. So I attribute a lot of the inspiration from you. So even if it doesn't have one of the Cindi sayings, it's really just an inspiration of the things that I have learned on this show and in my own educational journey, having been on this show. I did do, a couple for you. I have a sunflower shirt there to remind people to always face the light, because sunflower is Cindy's shtick. It's Cindy's thing. And also my, what would Cindy do? Because I ask myself that a lot. Like if I know that I'm just jumping and doing something that I probably shouldn't be doing, I'm like, what is Cindy going to tell me about this? And
And by now you know.
and now I know. It's like, and I can hear you're in my head, and I'm like, I shouldn't do it this way.
And a lot of my clients are
Yep.
saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They say they go through their day and they say, okay,
Yep.
what would she have told me? What do I need to do? Nicole basically got weekly Grant Me a Higher Love therapy here, as I did, because we did every week. And
Yep.
so did our clients and our listeners as they began to hear certain people's stories and how they resolved or what we advised.
And you got your first education because this book was channeled to you. And then you got your second education on the book because then you had to immerse yourself in it to do the radio show. And for me, I was gifted the book after I saw you for a reading when I first met you. And then I had to go through the book. And then my second education was keeping myself abreast of everything in the book so that I can do the radio show. So I don't think anybody that isn't teaching a college class or anything is so versed in any one text as we are in Grant Me a Higher Love.
For sure. And remember, I did a lot of research for that book and a lot of my knowledge, but a lot of it was channeled. So sometimes when I'm stuck, Spirit will say, Cindi, just open the book, please. And I'll open to it a page and you say, you know this stuff. How did you forget it? So everything we're going to be talking about, meeting the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And we have more than one right person. That's an important thing. We have more than one soulmate. And we could meet someone who is a soulmate. But sadly, only 1% of people maintain it, because you really have to be committed to that love, committed to healing. And a lot of people run away from a higher love. So if you did everything you could to make a relationship work and it falls apart, the person runs away, you're not responsible for that ending, and you would be granted another soulmate. But meeting people has to start with getting out of the house, getting out of your comfort zone, not just looking online, meeting people on Facebook. You could do that. We're not saying you can't do that. But what we're looking for is, how can you meet people of your soul group? Because your soulmate is in your soul group. So volunteer for a cause that you genuinely believe in. So many places need volunteers, whether it's an animal shelter, a food pantry, clean up your local beach. There's marathons or like walkathons, because you're more likely to meet people that are resonating at a higher frequency. But everyone always says, well, I don't know where to find this. I don't know where to do it. But they're online all day long Googling.
Exactly.
Why can't you Google places that are fundraisers or that need volunteers? Put a little homework into that. And if you have an interest, it makes it very, very simple. And a lot of my clients have met people in ways like just volunteering. But you're not going to do any of the things that we're talking about just to meet your soulmate or to meet your right person. You're going there to meet people, to enjoy yourself, to have fun, to make friends, to learn. And if you don't meet someone that day, it doesn't mean it was a waste of your time. If you're just going to a singles event like speed dating and you don't meet somebody, it kind of does feel like a waste of time, right? Because and aggravating.
Yeah.
But if you volunteered, and volunteering is a good energy frequency because it resonates that we gave. We're giving an energy infusion. The other people will give you an energy infusion. It will recharge your batteries. So I would say we could start with that one, volunteering.
Well, here's the thing too, Cindy, is
Okay.
when you have people that volunteer, they're giving of their time. Like you said, you have food pantries,
Exactly.
hospitals, animal rescues, things of that nature. But you're meeting people that are compassionate. You're meeting people
Exactly.
who show up. You're meeting people who are willing to give their time. You're meeting people who value service. So you're meeting people that you are ultimately, if those things align with you, that you are going to have a good foundation with, because you don't have to
Absolutely.
wonder, are they compassionate? Are they caring? Are they going to give me the time that I need? It's just going to happen because they're already putting it out there that they are that kind of person.
And I like the way you use the word show up, because that is the mantra for 2027.
I like it.
Show up. Nobody's showing up anymore. I can't tell you the number of people I've hired to come fix something, do something that don't show up,
Yeah,
that don't even
absolutely.
bother to tell you they're not
You
showing
had
up.
that experience this week.
Exactly. And thank God Andrew came and saved the day.
Andrew saved the day. Yeah.
Because with a little help from our friends, but if you want to find a higher love, you have to show up. Now, sometimes you could sign up for online dating because Spirit will say, well, at least they're showing up for something. Okay. And that's letting them know that maybe we could bring someone in a different way as well. But showing up to volunteer is saying, I'm getting out of my house. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm getting out of my space and I'm giving. And you want to be with other people who are givers. There are two kinds of people, givers and takers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to where someone's volunteering their time, that's a pretty good assurance that they are givers. So again, show up, take a class. But if you sign up for a class, don't do what so many people do nowadays. They put down $100 and the first class, they don't love it and they don't go back.
And back.
Not my generation. When we
No.
signed up for an adult education class, when I signed up for a belly dancing class in 1974, and I paid $20, and I was the worst one in the class. I was not good. Okay. But we were taught you put $20 down, you got 10 classes, you go to 10 classes. It took about to the 8th class for something to gel. So there were like 70 people in a class for belly dancing. I think I was the only one that became a professional belly dancer.
That's
Now,
funny.
if I had dropped out after the first class, I would have never had a profession that I did for 25 years. So just because you're not good at it the first class or you don't get it the first class,
Well, think of it this way, too, is that, again, what happens in a class? You have repeated interactions with people. So you might hate the class, and you might really get along with somebody else who is in the class that also hates the class.
right. And you'll be laughing.
It's a shared experience. You have a private joke about how much the class sucks.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's natural conversation of, oh, hey, I'm taking a class on this. Oh, yeah, I took one and it sucked. But it's the repeated interaction. A lot of people lack the skills to cultivate meaningful relationships. Everything is done with a screen in between you and another person. And actually, the reason why I thought about this, Cindi, wasn't even in the dating world. I just applied it to the dating world. It was my niece. She's 13 years old and is repeatedly getting in trouble for talking to kids or talking to people she does not know online. And her answer is always the same every time she gets in trouble. But this is how we meet people today. I'm not allowed to hang out with my friends at school because she was bullied. So her mother took away a lot of the friends from school. So I can't talk to those kids. Nobody goes to parks anymore. Nobody goes to skating rinks anymore. Where am I supposed to meet people? And she's not wrong. It's hard for kids today. And then we were talking about, what do you want to talk about for the radio show? I was like, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. Let's talk about meeting people in an era where it's not common to meet people in person anymore. Let's find that humanist way of thinking. Let's do it.
Right. TJ had a friend, and sadly his wife had passed away. And TJ told him, go take a ballroom dancing class. Because he didn't know how to dance, and he's learned how to dance, and he's met some nice women and some nice friends. And then when he does go out to a place, he knows how to dance. It could be a pottery class. It could be you learn a foreign language, photography. Something you've always wanted to learn. What's stopping you?
Yeah.
What I'm finding is this laziness permeating through the world where they're not showing up. Okay. Why do you think Spirit would tell me the mantra is show up? They don't leave the house and they're depressed. And the thing about depression is then you don't want to leave the house. Okay. Then you don't have the energy to do anything. So sometimes if you're depressed, they answer, it might not be clinical depression. It might just be circumstantial, because depression is oftentimes boredom. You're just so bored. So learning something new is important. Maybe teaching a class. Adult education's always looking for different kinds of people. You could put it together a class. It's just going where you're going to meet other people and have fun with it. The thing about in America, we're very competitive people that we don't know how to just do something for fun. Like TJ won't do tennis anymore because he says he can't be good at it anymore. Well, just do it for fun. Why can't you just do something for fun? Why does it have to be, well, I'm not great at it?
I'm just saying there's always pickleball.
Because pickleball, I think, became this tremendous worldwide phenomena because of
It
COVID.
is. Yeah.
People wanted to finally, when they could get out of the house, meet people in a healthy environment where you're doing something good for your body. And they sometimes have food and you could get some wine or drinks if you wanted to. But it's not just a bar where you're going to sit and get drunk. You're going to meet people, have fun. You could go by yourself. You don't have to have somebody to go with you. A lot of people say, well, I've never played it before. Well, go try it.
Yeah.
If you hate
I
it, don't
mean,
go back. You might find you really like it.
especially in our area, I could tell you right now that between you and I, there's probably there's probably 3 reputable places that I know of in between you and I. And then if you go a little bit further east and a little bit further west, still in Suffolk County, it's probably about another 4 that
Wow.
that are notable. And Lisa and I try to play every week, and
It-
it's if you have a tennis foundation, it's very, very easy. All of these places have what's called open play, where you just pick your level and you go to the open play and you could just jump on the court with people who are equal to you and say, listen, I've never done this before. I've only done this once, or I've only seen it on TV. The wonderful thing that I learned out of this is the community.
Exactly.
They are so awesome. And I think I told this when we were still doing just a radio show. I had tried pickleball and I kept hitting the ball out. I was just hitting the ball way too hard. And one of the guys said, you know what, you need a thicker paddle. And he let me try his paddle. Now these paddles the cheaper ones go for around $100, $150. You can get one for like $300 though. But this guy, had a very nice paddle, and it was not a cheap paddle, but not an expensive paddle. And he's like, here, why don't you take it for the week and see if you like it? He goes, I'll be here next Saturday, just bring it back. And I literally just took this guy's paddle. He did not know me from Adam. He just saw me struggling a little bit, gave me one of his paddles and said, just leave it at the front desk for me next week if I'm not here. And that's exactly what I did. I left it at the front desk. I left him a little note that said thank you. But without even hesitating, he's just like, here you go. And a lot of people have been that way. A lot of people. And it's a very, very nurturing community. It's people of all ages. I definitely think that we need a pickleball date, Cindi, with
And,
TJ.
and it's really a good thing because you have to go regularly. You can't just show up once and think everybody's going to embrace you.
Of course.
And also, if you're not going to be very good at pickleball, why not be the comedic relief a little bit? Have some fun. Try your best. People
Let me tell you,
will.
my friend Judy is not that great of a pickleball player.
Oh,
but
Judy,
we
are
all
you
play with.
listening?
Exactly. I hope she is. She's not that great at pickleball play. I mean, she's got a bad back, 2 bad ankles. She loves to be active, but she's always hurting herself. Not doing pickleball, but just doing things she's not supposed to be doing. And I kid you not, we play with her for no other reason than she is the life of the party. You will do
That's what
nothing
I'm
but
saying.
laugh when she's with you.
And getting out there, experiencing new things. And
Mhm.
also what you said about the paddle, a lot of times when they say women can't fix things is because they've never been trained to use the right tool. They're using the wrong screwdriver. Even with hula hooping, people can't
Hula
hula hoop
hooping.
because they don't know that it has to be up to your waist. You can't use a little kid's one because it's just the laws of physics. It has to be a certain height or it won't work. And if you're more intellectual or more not physical, you can join a book club, a writing group, memoir writing group, a poetry writing group. But it would be really good to even start a book club. We all can connect and say, Facebook friends, look, I'm going to have a book club. Let's pick a book we want to read. If you're into spiritual things, you pick a different spiritual book and you discuss it and you talk about it. So again, you're meeting friends. Now, as you meet a friend, all of this, by the way, could be you're going to meet your person who's going to introduce you. Like TJ and I met because I went to a party in the Hamptons by myself, and the first person I met is a woman named Judy. She became my friend. I spent time at her house. TJ joined a writing class. Not because he really particularly wanted to take the writing class, but the woman offered very good food, and him being a divorced man, it was worth it for the price, okay? And he met Judy there. When Judy had a party, we met. So you might have to meet your Judy. Maybe you need to meet another person of your soul group who will help you meet. So all of these things are there to help you learn, not be bored. There's nothing more boring than a person that doesn't keep learning things, by the way.
Absolutely. And the desire to learn I personally think, is a very, very sexy, attractive
Exactly.
trait in somebody. And number one, There are libraries, people. I'm just
Yes.
saying there are libraries. And a lot of people forget that there is a place called the library. It's a big building, and this big building has a lot of books in it. So if you're looking for a writing group or a book club, chances are you can start there.
They have everything there. They have chess
Yeah.
clubs. They have buses where you can go to the city to see a show.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
Yep.
sitting on a bus,
A
and these are
lot of
local people,
ideas.
whoever you're sitting next to, you might talk, you make a new friend. You could offer to teach something at the library.
And you could
And
even
it's a-
go into a library and just say, hey, listen, I want to start a book club of my own.
That's what I'm
Would you
saying.
mind putting up my flyers? You can start anything there. It's just a good starting point. It doesn't have to be your starting point for this particular thing. But I was talking to Lisa about this recently, and I started reading again because I was just have been very scattered. I think it's the lack of Cindi Weekly in my life that's doing it, so it's kind of your fault. But I was been very scattered, and I started rereading a book that I had read in the past called The Power of Habit. And I, was in the section about habit stacking, and I realized that I was doing something wrong. I love to read. I love to write. I love to read. And I got to the point where I was only reading when I wanted to learn something.
Right.
And that's the wrong way to learn something, because
Right.
when you're under that kind of stress, you're not going to absorb the material. So I started reading for pleasure again. I started into my fiction books and into my other kinds of books. And I was telling Lisa that reading is so, so powerful, and you don't even realize how powerful it is. Because
is.
when you're reading somebody else's story, that conversation in your head goes beyond just the normal small talk that you would have with somebody. So if you find somebody else that has read the same text, you're going to literally learn what that person thinks about love. You're going to learn what that person thinks about family, about ambition, depending on whatever the topics are. You're going to learn how they feel about those things, because you're going to discuss those things that you both shared in that one text. You're going to see their emotional intelligence, how they respond to certain characters, how they curious or reflective about certain characters. There's so many things that you can learn just by reading the same book as another person, simply by them revealing what their interpretation of that was.
And also, people write from their soul. So it's a very soulful experience. Now, I've never read Kurt Vonnegut until recently. Cat's Cradle, I just listened to. And let me tell you, that blew my mind. I felt as if when I was reading that book that, Kurt Vonnegut was with me. Maybe I have a skill other people don't have to channel dead people, but it was a remarkable experience for me. So try a book or authors that you haven't read yet, or you always wanted
that you
to
normally
read.
maybe wouldn't have
You
read.
wouldn't do it, because you might be amazingly surprised at feeling this soulful connection. So that goes along with the next topic: attend spiritual gatherings, which could be a spiritual book club. It could be a meditation circle. And if you look on Facebook, there's people hosting full moon ceremonies, and you could go to a yoga retreat. You could do a tarot workshop or metaphysical fair. If you're so minded that you like to go to a church or a temple, do these things, because once again, you could meet your person and kind of follow that voice. Like, when I went to that party by myself, I heard Spirit saying, you're going to go by yourself. You're not going to babysit for someone who's not going to have a good time. Also, the party that I met TJ at, it was Easter Eve, and I was tired. I didn't even want to go. And anything else I was going to do,
somebody just kicked you in the butt and said, get your ass out there, Cindi.
Spirit said, if you had to go to work, you'd put on your makeup and a nice outfit, you'd go to work. So just do it and go to the party. So it could be sometimes when you hear that voice, when you don't really want to do it, that prompting to go. But again, expanding your knowledge, expanding your soulful connections. Sometimes you could go to where a band's playing, where there's music. If you like a particular type of music, there's all kinds of places that have music that isn't even expensive. Like down the block is the Dunton Inn, where they have jazz every Wednesday. Try to just go somewhere outside of your comfort zone. It's, again, show up. What's happening that this low-grade depression permeating through the world, and especially in younger people, is they do not leave the house. They work from the home. They DoorDash. They don't even get the positive energy of going into the restaurant, saying hello to the waitress who packs it, seeing her smile when you give a nice tip. Humans are not meant to go through life as solo creatures. If we were supposed to do, then we would never need a doctor or surgery or a dentist or anybody else to live, okay? We're supposed to be enjoying other people. So I'm getting tired of hearing my clients say, well, there's nowhere to meet people. They live on Long Island. There's millions of people, but there's no
There's a
people
lot
to
of
meet.
people.
Okay. 50% of Americans are single right now after COVID. Locking people in a foxhole for 2.5 years, good people walked out of bad relationships. It is
Mhm.
not the leftovers anymore. It is
No.
good people that would have died in that marriage and finally said, if I'm going to die with COVID, I'm not dying on this hill. If I should live, I'm out of here. So don't start saying there's nothing to do. Get out there. People don't even go to weddings anymore. They won't go to a birthday
God.
party. You invite people to parties. They don't want to go. There's a lot of charities, fundraisers, galas. Some of them are more expensive than others, but you could volunteer for the gala and you could meet people. Also, theaters, by the way, a lot of them, like Bay Street Theater, different ones, are having a singles hour before the show where
Mhm.
the bar is open and single
Yeah.
people can go and you could talk for an hour before the show. Then there's an intermission you could talk. If you go on opening night, they have an after party where there's some
Mhm.
food and a drink and you could talk again. So if you don't have money to pay for a theater ticket, well, they also need volunteers to be ushers. So you can volunteer to be an usher, meet other ushers, get to see a show. Think outside of your box,
Start
especially if
saying
someone,
yes. How about that?
yes,
Just start saying
because
yes
saying
more
yes is
often.
show up. Show up and don't say I'm going to go to a party and don't show up.
It's so rude.
And that's what's happening.
That is
You invite people, they don't come.
yeah.
They cancel last minute a
Yep.
text. Now, normally people wouldn't cancel things because you used to have to call on the phone and speak to them. Texting seems to give everybody an easy out. Be a person of your word.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
don't be a person, well, today I don't feel like it. When I said yes, I felt like it, but I don't feel like it today. Really, you might be
Mhm.
surprised how you don't feel like it because you're bored, because you're depressed, because you're antisocial now because you don't get out in the world. Maybe the best thing you could do is to go and have a good time and laugh and be funny and share laughter because that's very soulful. It will recharge your battery. It will lift your
Mhm.
energy frequency. So maybe you went to the party today and now tomorrow you're going somewhere to the food store and your energy's so high that someone starts talking to you and all of a sudden you meet
Exactly.
your person. It's keeping your energies up too is
Absolutely.
important.
And it's also like you said, Cindy, that there's, connections to people. Somebody might invite you, to a wedding or to their home for a dinner party, and you may say, I don't want to go. I know everybody that's going to be there. But you don't know for sure that somebody in that circle won't bring somebody outside the circle.
Exactly.
You're not 100% sure of that. Something could always happen at the last minute where instead of canceling at the last minute, they said, oh, hey, my buddy just called me. Can I bring him too? You
Right.
don't know when that happens. But not only that, like you said, with the vibrations and everything else, you're sharing something. Even if it's with your friends group, you're sharing something. Showing how compatible you are with these people. You're showing your humor and your temperament and all of those things with that circle. And maybe because you've been bored and removed, these people forgot how funny you could be. Or they
Right. And
forgot
God,
certain
how
things
funny you
about
could
you. And
be.
you forgot how funny you can be. Where now all of a sudden they talk to somebody else another day about, my God, we were laughing so hard at my friend's dinner party. My friend Cindy said blah, 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 blah. And somebody else might go, you know what? Next time you hang out with Cindy, let me know. I want to hang out with her. You
Right. You
don't know
see,
when it's going to click for somebody that they have somebody for you.
and we said this before, but you have to become a regular somewhere, like at
Mhm.
pickleball, the same coffee shop, the same farmer's market, a local bookstore.
Jim.
Doggy parks are very good places to meet people, by the way. If you happen to have a
Yeah.
dog, let your dog go to the doggy park and you sit and you
Yeah.
talk with people. TJ, one of his good friends he goes sailing with, he was on the phone with me years ago and say, I had nobody to go sailing with. And this guy, Todd, was with his dog and he said, I'll go sailing with you. And Todd's been his sailing buddy for all these years. But the way the world works, if you show up once, people are not
Yeah.
very open sometimes just seeing you once. They have to see you a little bit regularly.
Mhm.
And even TJ and I being theater critics, we might go into Bay Street Theater and we know 40 people there now. We've gone so many
Yep.
times and we get to talk to all these people when they had the party afterwards. We stay and we talk. So you get to know people. It's nice to feel like a part of a community somewhere. And I think that's what's happening. You're not feeling like you're a part of anything, but you can't expect God to airdrop your lover into your bedroom. When
Yeah.
we did the radio show, how many times we people like, well, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I will say, okay, If you're meant to get a job, that means you never had to go to college. You didn't have to get a resume. You didn't have to pick up a skill. You don't
Yep.
have to go on interviews because God's just going to airdrop your job into your room. It's not
Oh, yeah.
different with love.
Yeah.
First of all, it's free will. You've got to
Yeah.
let God know you want love.
I mean, and Cindy, when did we actually start doing the radio show? It's like 20 years?
It's a little less, 19
Wha
years now.
19 years now. In 19 years, people, there has only been one person that said staying home delivered their true soulmate, and that was the UPS guy.
That's right.
But
and
one person.
One person. He
One
was
person.
the UPS guy. And she happened to be the person I told her because she just moved. He's either going to be your landscaper or the UPS guy.
Yeah.
And he was the
And it was
UPS
the
guy.
UPS. Oh, you said mailman too. I
A
think it was-
mailman.
Yeah.
It's somebody who's going to deliver something or come to your house. But for the most part, don't think if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Also, if you're in 7-Eleven, you're being nice to someone, say there's someone needs help and you're helping them. It could be a really nice person, 4 people down to think, why, she's such a nice person, or he's such a nice person. I want to go over and say, that was really nice what you did for that person.
Exactly.
So, be that
Well, when you
kind
see
of-
somebody, like think about what happens with people on TV. When you see these actors on TV and you see about the fans going, just running at them, it's because there isn't familiarity there. You see these people all the time, therefore you feel like you know them. Same thing happens when you become a regular someplace. You are literally becoming familiar to these people. They recognize you over time. You feel less like a stranger the more that they see you. Even if you're not buddy-buddy and going to dinner at each other's houses yet, you're still less a stranger over time when you do that. And you know what? It doesn't take much for somebody just to be, oh, he or she is a regular over here. Oh, so sweet. You should talk to them. They're awesome. You should get to,
And that's the whole point. Now, if you like to travel, you can't always travel by yourself. You
Please
have
do.
to travel with a group, a singles travel group, a guided tour, cruises, hiking with other people. If you go, say, from Long Island with a group, and maybe you're going to Alaska on a cruise, but most of the people are from Long Island that you're going to be with. If you meet a person, you can possibly have a relationship with them easier than if you meet someone in England, but you live in the United States. That's going to be a little hard. It's not impossible, but try to go to singles travel things and even organize one. When I was at Nassau Community College, I spent this summer in Israel in a kibbutz. And oddly
That
enough,
must have been so fun.
the person that I met came from the same town as I did Merrick.
Nice.
And he knew my brothers. And he was a person I dated for a while. Although I knew him in Merrick, I knew of him. I never talked to him. I talked to him in Israel.
There you go.
So you never know. Travel could be
Miss my mouth.
a place to meet people. There are meetups now. Go to a meetup. If you don't meet the love of your life and you don't even meet a friend that you want to see all the time, but you've done something you wanted to do, it's a win-win no matter what happens. And don't forget to reconnect with the existing network that you have. Trusted friends, relatives. You know how many of my clients, I ask them, well, do you tell your friends? Do you tell your coworkers you're looking for somebody? No, I don't want to say anything. Well, why? Why not say?
What are you so proud of? Like, what are you embarrassed about?
I mean, say you're at the water cooler. Anybody know a guy? Anybody got a friend? Anybody got somebody that's not an axe murderer? Anybody know somebody that you want to connect me with? Because people are very good matchmakers now, and I'll tell you why. Spirit is not thrilled with online dating. They don't hate it.
Nah.
I know a lot of my clients that have met someone through someone. That person had never set anyone up in their life, but they just had this thought that wouldn't leave their head saying, oh, my brother-in-law is perfect for my coworker, Susan, or whatever. And they got them together. And it was a perfect match. Now,
That's awesome.
that probably wasn't their idea. Spirit probably kept saying, this is a perfect match. Also, if you do online dating, if you meet a really nice person, but he or she's not the right one for you, maybe say, but I do have a friend I think you might get along with. Introduce them. Also, use the time when you're looking to become the kind of person you want to be. Do something that's your passion. If you have to heal certain issues, go to therapy or read a self-help book. Be kind. Start feeling good about yourself. Be a lover to yourself. Because if you're not feeling good about yourself, you're not going to give off an energy that anybody's going to want to be
No.
near. And we can all read energies as of 2024. So if you think you're fooling anybody, you're not. Everybody can tell bad energy 3 blocks away. So
Absolutely.
if you're doing stuff to make yourself feel good about yourself, you're going to give out that energy out to the world.
We talk about this when we talk about synchronicity and like attracting like and the laws of attraction and the power of the law of attraction. When you give yourself a little bit of self-love and when you start healing your own issues and you start becoming a healthy person and an emotionally available person, you're going to spot that right away. So you're going to attract what it is you're putting out there. And if you're putting out there that you are emotionally available and ready for a relationship, you are going to see who is emotionally available and ready for a relationship when you do venture out there because like is going to attract like. If you stay hidden and you don't take care of yourself and you don't have good boundaries and you're not kind and you're not any of the things that you look for in a mate, you're not going to find somebody with those same values and with those same attributes.
And we're going to extend this a little bit to making new friends because a lot of my clients say, I can't meet anybody. I don't have any friends. My friends moved away or died. I don't know, because if you get older, these things happen. Well, I'm sorry, then you have to
Sad
meet
but
some
true.
you have to meet some new living friends. So
And
it,
unless you're Cindi, once they're gone, you're not going to really be talking to them that much anymore. So you got to kind of find the replacement friends.
everything we suggested, whether it's go to a book club, go to
Mm-hmm.
pickleball,
Yeah.
go to yoga, learn something new, go to pottery, you can meet new friends. And we do outgrow things. It's one of the grant me a higher love philosophies. Not all relationships are meant to last forever. So if we've outgrown our friends, even if they're still around, but we just don't resonate the same frequency,
Mm-hmm.
then we
That's
need to
okay.
meet other of our soul group who have higher frequencies. Relationships are mirrors of ourselves. So people we may have liked 50 years ago or 30 years ago or 20 years ago
You're a
may
different
have
person.
not grown or evolved. And we
Yep.
have. And it's not that there was any kind of falling out. We're just not on the same wavelength.
Exactly.
We need people who are on our same wavelength. So it's really getting outside of yourself.
And don't
Stop.
necessarily look for the right person. Look for where the right people convene, where the right people gather. Go to where your likes are and find other people with those same things. And once you start immersing yourself in the world of what you want, you will ultimately find the world, and the thing that you need.
Right. And I'm going to go a little Carl Jung here because, we always that's part of the grant me a higher love
Let's do
philosophy.
it.
You have to overcome our personal and collective unconscious fear of rejection,
Yeah.
of judgment, of people not liking me, fear of loving somebody who could die on us. That's why I don't want to ever love anybody again because they could say they're going to love me forever, but they could drop dead on me. We have to overcome these fears. If you're being kind to somebody, smile, and somebody's not nice to you, don't take it personally. You got to say, did anything to deserve that? No. Put it out of your head. But that doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
don't be nice to the next person. So
Yeah.
if you're going to be so afraid somebody's going to reject you, that's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you are out in a group with your friends, women, no man's going to permeate or woman's going to permeate a group of women to go approach somebody because
Nope.
that's like a pack. So if you see someone looking over at you, give that person a break. If they're smiling at you, smile back.
Mm-hmm.
Remove yourself from the pack of women. And you could say something funny like, can I just stay here for a minute? There's too much estrogen over there, or there's too much whatever. And if the person is interested in you, you gave them a chance to say it. If they're not, you had a nice laugh and you
Mm-hmm.
move on. But you can't go out with your friends and only talk to your friends and think you're going to meet someone new.
Yep.
It's not going to
And
happen.
don't confuse. A lot of people confuse what rejection actually is. Okay. Don't confuse rejection or that incompatibility with inadequacy. Like if you're rejected, and we've all been rejected. And I was like, oh my God, I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't enough for that person. And that's why I was rejected. Sometimes you're just not compatible. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're pretty enough or kind enough or strong enough or intelligent enough. Sometimes you're just not compatible. And I heard a really, really great quote about that. A beautiful song is not a bad song just because somebody else prefers a different genre.
Right.
So that's kind of what you have to think about. I mean, by all means, if they're calling you out on your bullshit, fix your bullshit.
Right.
But don't think just because you were rejected that that it's automatic inadequacy. Sometimes it's just a lack of compatibility. And you were not rejected, you experienced rejection. And those are two different ways of looking at that. Okay? It's not you that's being rejected. It is the fact that you experienced rejection of somebody else.
And also, remember, part of the grant me a higher love philosophy is sometimes people are not rejecting you. They're rejecting the higher love that you're offering them. And they may
Yes.
feel a great connection with you. They may feel a great soulmate connection with you, but they're commitment phobics. They're afraid. They don't want that. So they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the higher love you're offering them. And don't take it personally. It's something we have to learn in this world. It's not always about us. Sometimes someone's in a bad mood. It's not about you. Sometimes they've had their heart broken and they're not going to let anybody in. The more we get out of our ego, and we'll close the show onto 3 dimensions we live in. 3D is ego. It's fear, it's anxiety, it's shyness, it's fear of rejection, mental illness, all lies in that ego plane. If we're in our ego state when we're going out, we're not going to give off a good vibe and we're going to take everything personally. Go into your 4D heart-based, love-based. Be warm, be loving to people. The greatest invitation to love is to be loving first. And be 5D. 5D is humor, it's kindness, it's telepathy. You can sense a vibe across the room telepathically. I'd like you to talk to me. The person will probably hear it and they'll get it, but be funny, be kind. Go 4D love, 5D soul. And if it's not the right person, even if you're doing a speed date like that, you can have a lot of fun with it. You can say to the person, oh my God, you're just so funny and you're great. I'm sorry. I don't feel it, but I just know you're going to find a great love. Just have a laugh with the other person sitting across, and you could just laugh at how ridiculous you feel or whatever. Have fun. Go lighter. Show up, but show up lighter without everything being life or death. You're not going into an execution. You're not getting the electric chair. Try to go with an attitude of let's have some fun. And I hope listening to this, you've had a little fun. Our assignment is if you need to meet new friends, if someone you know needs to meet new friends, if you need to meet a soulmate, try some of these or suggest them to other people. And maybe help them join a book club or go with them the first time if they're a little nervous about it. But really, you have to learn to go places by yourself. Because if your friends don't want to go to that Broadway show from the library, go by yourself and meet somebody. Well, Nicole, thank you for this wonderful idea.
Thank you. You're
This
welcome,
was so
Cindi.
fun. And I think this was a really good time to do it because there's a lot of activities in the summer, in the fall.
Yeah.
Just even going for a walk in the neighborhood. You never know. If you walk regularly in the neighborhood, you start talking to your neighbors, and maybe your neighbors have a barbecue and they'll invite you.
A lot of people, they look for the right person. They're looking. Sometimes the best thing that you can do when you're looking, when you want a good relationship, is to look inward. Keep working on yourself. Keep that vibration expanding. And then when you least expect it, something is going to come along.
All right. We'll see you all again. Enjoy your summer.